Hey everyone, before we dive into tonight's twisted tale, I just want to say thank you. This channel has grown because of you, the night owls, rule breakers, and horror fans who keep coming back for more. If you want to take it even further, consider joining the Sinister Elite. It helps me tremendously to keep the stories coming, and you'll unlock exclusive emojis and members-only perks along the way. And if you're looking for horror that goes beyond strange rules, check out my new channel, Sinister Shadows. It's where the darker, weirder stuff lives. The link's in the description. Make sure you're subscribed to both channels, drop a like, and if you're brave enough, join the Sinister Elite. Now, on to tonight's story. Just remember, follow the rules, or end up in the story. I took the job because it sounded easy. Government contractor, steady pay, healthcare. Operate a camera during confidential internal meetings. Must follow basic protocol. No exceptions. I figured it was some boring Pentagon livestream no one watches. First paycheck hit my account, and I stopped asking questions. They didn't even give me a badge, just an ID number and a plain envelope with the rules. Typed, stapled, no signature, no letterhead, no explanation. The first rule made me laugh. 1. Do not speak to anyone who isn't scheduled to be in the room, even if they speak to you first. Weird, right? Who the hell wanders into top-secret government meetings to chat with the camera guy? 2. Watch reflections in the glass, not the people. 3. Never correct anyone's mistakes, even obvious ones. 4. Do not acknowledge attendees who don't blink. 5. If someone repeats the same phrase twice, look down and do not look up until they leave. It went on like that for a full page. I figured it was just weird office humor, until I showed up for my first shift. The building wasn't labeled, just a gray rectangle on the edge of the city. Inside, clean hallways, bored security guards, bad coffee. The conference room was colder than it needed to be, with one long black table, mirrored walls on two sides, cameras mounted at every angle. No one introduced themselves. They just pointed me to my station. A tiny booth with old controls like I was running some 90s cable access show. I didn't get a headset, just a clipboard with today's meeting schedule and a copy of the rules, again. Meeting begins at 0100 hours. Camera on, eyes forward. Simple. First meeting. 6 people. All suits. Senators, advisors, agency types. No name tags, no smiles. They filed in like mannequins, sat exactly where their names were typed on the paper, and began talking in flat, expressionless tones about something called Project Quiet Home. They weren't loud. They weren't secretive. They were off. Every so often, one of them would look directly at the mirrored wall. Not like they were checking their reflection, like they were checking to see if something was still there. I noticed it because one of them turned his head all the way around. Slow. Mechanical. 180 degrees like an owl. His neck didn't even twitch. No one reacted. Not the others. Not the security at the door. Not even the mirror. I did what the rules said. I looked at his reflection, not at him. In the glass? His face wasn't moving. His reflection smiled, though. Big, wide, all teeth. I didn't say a word, just kept the camera steady. Second meeting, different people, same vibes. One woman said the phrase, "We're still secure," 3 times in a row. Each time, flatter. Each time, louder. Third time, her voice dropped an octave. The others ignored her. I looked down. The rule said, "Look down." Eventually, she left the room by walking backwards through the wall. My camera didn't glitch. My brain did. I checked the feed later. On playback, she wasn't there. Neither were 2 others. The footage showed an empty chair where I clearly remembered a man in a navy suit watching me the whole time. The mirrored wall showed something else entirely. A dark shape, long arms, no mouth, watching through the glass. The next morning, my pay cleared again. Full amount, no questions, and a new envelope slid under my door. Additional protocol for camera staff. If an attendee you do not recognize waves at the camera, do not wave back. Do not view footage from meeting room 3B after 0000 hours. All camera malfunctions must be reported. Audio interference is to be ignored. I hadn't told anyone about the footage, so who knew? Third meeting last night, something changed. Mid-session, one of the attendees stood up and pressed both hands against the mirror. His reflection pressed back, but mirrored wrong. Left hand where the right should be. Eyes too high on the head. Grinning, wide and slow. He said, "Can you see me yet?" Not to the others. Not to himself. To the camera. I turned off the feed, I don't know why. Instinct. Fear. When I turned it back on, the room was empty. This morning, no envelope. No schedule. But my door was unlocked when I woke up. Inside, just one thing left behind. Another copy of the rules. One more added at the bottom, handwritten in ink. Do not trust anyone who knows the rules. There's another meeting tonight. I don't want to go, but they've already paid me. They'll pay me again. I think they want me to see what comes next. One of the security guards passed me in the hall. He said, "They're watching you now. Be careful with the mop closet. Even they won't go near it." He smiled, didn't blink. The thing no one tells you about working these meetings? The footage lies, not glitches, not edits. The recording shows you what you're supposed to believe happened, not what did. I learned that on my second week. By then I'd stopped wondering who these people were. Senators, generals, doctors, with no last names. Some of them came in looking human. Some of them, not quite. Too tall, too thin, too many teeth when they smiled. They still wore suits, though. Like pretending to be professional was more important than pretending to be people. The rules made more sense now. Don't look at the faces, watch the reflections. Because reflections don't lie the same way cameras do. Monday night's meeting, I followed the rules to the letter. Kept my eyes on the glass. On the glass, one of the generals was peeling his skin off. At the table, in real life, he was just writing notes. You ever try to hold a camera steady while someone across the room unzips their face in the reflection? Not easy, not even a little. After the meeting, I went back to my station. Standard post protocol, review the footage, flag any malfunctions, sign off on the session. I queued it up, watched. Except, the footage wasn't the same meeting. No generals, no advisors. Just an empty room for an hour and 15 minutes. Empty chairs, no sound, no people. Until the last 3 minutes. At timestamp 1:12:43, the reflection in the glass stood up. No person, no body in the room. Just the shadowy reflection rising, stretching tall enough to scrape the ceiling. Long fingers, blank face, turned to face the camera, and waved. I shut it off, didn't log it. I figured, hell, maybe the footage is just ahead of the times. Maybe it's showing me next week. Tuesday night, 1:03 a.m. New meeting. Fewer people this time. Only 3. One was that same general. One was a woman I hadn't seen before. Long gray hair, skin tight like wax paper, fingers steepled under her chin. The third didn't sit. Just hovered in the corner, head tilted like he was listening to music no one else could hear. None of them looked at each other. None of them blinked. They talked about something called Human Continuity Draft 5. Said things like, integration threshold remains unstable. Said things like, we'll need more bodies next quarter. At 1:27 a.m., the hovering man finally turned to face me. He didn't have eyes, just empty sockets, black and writhing like smoke trying to escape. He smiled, too many teeth, and spoke. You shouldn't have watched the playback. I shut the feed off again. Too late. When I came in the next night, my door was already unlocked. Inside, another copy of the rules. This one had a new addition, written in that same crooked handwriting. Do not rewind footage more than once. They'll know. Below that, someone had added in smaller print, they already know. That night's meeting? Canceled. First time since I started. Instead, I was assigned to monitor room 3B, the one the rules said never to film after midnight. Guess who doesn't get to say no? Room 3B wasn't even listed on the floor plan. I had to find it by wandering. Down a hallway that felt longer than physics allows. Through a door with no handle on the inside. Inside was nothing. Empty conference table, chairs, a blank TV on the wall, mirrored glass on all sides. No people. So why was my camera already recording? On the monitor, chairs full, faces covered in static blur, every one of them looking straight at me. One of them lifted a hand, 3 fingers, too long, curling like smoke, and tapped the glass. Tap, tap, tap. Behind me? Nothing. On the screen? Closer now. Pressed to the glass. Smiling. The screen cut out. Timer reset to 0. Recording light still red. When I reported the footage the next day, the tech just said, "We don't log anomalies from 3B. You know that." I didn't. I do now. Last night's envelope. Only one sentence this time. Typed, not handwritten. Stop looking at the reflections. Start looking at yourself. So I did, in the security mirror outside my room. And my reflection? Smiled first. When I started this job, I thought it was about running a camera. Now I'm starting to think I'm the one being watched. Last night, I tried to leave after my shift. Keycard didn't work. Elevator ignored me. Security said, "Oh, you're not cleared to exit until you finish your assignment." "What assignment?" I asked. They just smiled and said, "You'll know when it's done." Smiles here don't reach the eyes. Sometimes they don't even have eyes. Wednesday night, 12:59 a.m. Meeting started late. That's not supposed to happen. These people, things, they're precise, cold. When they're late, something's wrong. 4 attendees. I recognized 2. The general with the bending neck. The gray-haired woman who never blinked. 2 new ones. Both identical. Same face, same suit, same watch on the same wrist. They sat on opposite sides of the table. Neither looked at the other. Neither spoke. The general said, "We are proceeding ahead of schedule." The woman said, "Containment has been adjusted." The copies said nothing. At least, not out loud. Through the camera, I heard them whisper. Not words, not even sounds. Just shapes forming in my head like something trying to crawl out the back of my skull. I did what the rules said. I looked down, but the reflections didn't. They stared at me, both of them, through the mirrored walls. One of them pressed a hand to the glass. It wasn't human underneath the skin. I saw that much. Something rippling beneath, like fish scales sliding over bone. When the meeting ended, no one stood up. They just stopped existing. One blink, 4 bodies. Next blink, empty chairs. The reflections lingered. The mop closet door was open when I passed. First time I'd seen it open. Inside, just a mop, standing upright like it was waiting for something. Someone had scrawled a note inside the door. "If it comes near the mop, you run." Even they won't go near it. The janitor wasn't around. I'm starting to think there never was one. I tried reviewing the footage. Same as before. Empty room, silent feed, nothing unusual. Except at 1:14 a.m., the screen blinked and showed me myself. Standing where I was now, staring at the camera. Except the me on screen wasn't blinking, wasn't breathing, was smiling. Slow. Wide. Not my smile. Another envelope under my door this morning. Just 2 lines. Meeting room 4C tonight. No cameras permitted. Bring nothing with a reflection. There's no 4C on the map. But I've learned by now, if they say there's a room, there's a room. I followed the hallway deeper than I thought it went. No lights, No sound except my footsteps, and even those sounded fake, like they weren't mine anymore. Door at the end, labeled 4C in tiny, precise letters. Inside, nothing but a single chair facing a blank wall. I sat, waited. No one came in. But the walls began to shimmer, like heat rising off asphalt. Shapes pressed against them from the other side. Hands, faces, eyes. All wrong, stretched, grinning. One spoke, from everywhere at once, from nowhere. "Are you still yourself?" Another voice, softer. "Do you even remember what that means?" I couldn't answer. My mouth wouldn't open. My skin itched like something underneath was trying to peel free. They didn't need my answer. They just laughed, low and hungry. The door opened. I left. The hallway wasn't the same one I'd come down. No more security. No more signs. Just a stairwell going up. When I reached my room, my mirror was missing. In its place, another rule taped to the wall. Written in the same slanted ink as before. Stop filming. Start listening. Under it, someone had scratched into the wall. What's inside the walls is getting closer. I still showed up for work. What else was I going to do? Refuse? Leave? There's no leaving unless they say you're done. Tonight's meeting is in the observation wing. New place, new rules. I'm supposed to keep the camera pointed at the ceiling this time. No explanations, no reasons. Just eyes up. Don't look down. Not tonight. My reflection isn't smiling anymore. It's watching me. Waiting. I think soon it's going to want out. Observation wing. I thought I knew this building. I've been here weeks now. I know the color of the walls, the way the lights hum louder when you're alone, the smell of burned coffee and cold metal that never really goes away. But I didn't know about the observation wing. No signs, no key cards. Just a man I've never seen before. Tall, pale, wearing a security uniform 2 sizes too small and a badge with no name, waiting for me at the stairwell. "You'll need this," he said, and handed me a headset. Outdated tech, crackling audio, no label. "What's this for?" "To hear them." I wanted to ask who them was. I didn't. I already knew. Observation Room 1. A. No windows, no furniture. Just me, my camera, and a ceiling made entirely of mirrored glass. The instructions were typed on a card taped to the tripod. 1. Point the camera up at all times. 2. Do not look down. 3. Do not remove the headset until instructed. No chairs, no table. Just stand and film and wait. At exactly 1 a.m., the mirror above me moved. Not opened. Moved. Like something heavy shifting behind it. Like something pacing. The headset hissed. Then voices. Too many voices speaking at once. Overlapping. All shapes of wrong. "Do you see us yet?" "He isn't ready." Record. I kept the camera steady. Kept my eyes up. Shapes formed behind the glass. Not bodies, not people. Outlines like melted shadows wearing suits. Grinning, always grinning. One pressed a hand to the glass. Fingers too long. No nails. Skin like fog trying to hold itself together. Tap, tap, tap. Through the headset. He's filming. That's enough. That's how it starts. The room went dark. Completely. The camera light blinked red. Recording. Then light again, but not from the fixtures. From the glass above, glowing soft and gray like moonlight through water. Reflections appeared that weren't mine. That couldn't be mine. Too tall. Too thin. Mouths wrong. Eyes wrong. Smiling too wide. All watching me. One leaned close enough for its breath to... Conference Hall 0 wasn't on any map. Not my security clearance. Not the blueprints taped inside the booth. Not even in the emergency evacuation routes posted by the elevators. But it was on my schedule. Big black letters. Final meeting. Conference Hall 0. Bring no devices, bring only yourself. The hallway to get there didn't exist until tonight. 1 minute I was staring at a blank wall. Next blink, door. Metal. No handle. Letter O painted dead center in red. It opened before I touched it. Inside, no lights, but I could see fine. No walls, but there were corners. No ceiling, but something heavy hung above us anyway. Chairs. Dozens of them. Filled. All identical copies of people I'd seen before. The general. The woman. The hovering man. The security guard with his inside-out smile. Some of them sat twice. Same face, same clothes, same motionless stare. At the head of the table, an empty seat. I knew it was for me. I sat. Didn't speak. Didn't breathe louder than I had to. Didn't look too long at the things that only existed in the corner of my vision. One chair over, the general peeled back his jaw like a curtain and smiled through the muscle. Across from me, the woman removed her skin like a coat and hung it on the back of her chair. Beneath, fog. Teeth. Eyes in the wrong places. They didn't speak with mouths. They never really had. Through my teeth, through my bones, through the camera I wasn't allowed to bring. You watched. You filmed. You saw us. You broke the rules. You followed them too. You are inside now. One of them slid a folder down the table. Pale hand. Black nails. Inside. Photographs. Me, sitting at cameras. Me, standing under mirrors. Me, staring at footage that didn't exist. One last photo taped on the back page. Me, seated here, in this room, surrounded. Written underneath, "Welcome to continuity." The general stood, bent wrong at the waist. You know what we are now. They don't care about secrets. They don't care about governments. They don't even care about the meetings. They care about process, about watching, about making sure something like humanity keeps repeating itself long enough to matter. They're not shapeshifters because they have to be. They do it because no one questions what looks human. Not when it follows the rules. Not when it fills out the forms. Not when it smiles in the mirror. I tried to leave. There was no door anymore. Just that heavy weight overhead pressing lower. From above. Do you see yourself yet? I looked up. Not a ceiling. Not a mirror. Just me. Stretched across the void, stitched in reflections, smiling with a mouth that wasn't mine anymore. I woke up in my room. No memory of how. No schedule for tonight. Just the rules taped to my wall again. New edition. Bottom of the page. If they know your face, you're already one of them. The building looks different now. The people I pass in the halls, if they're people, watch me longer. Blink less. Smile more. Reflections lag behind. Footsteps echo from directions no one's standing. At my station, the monitors show empty rooms. Except for one. Room 0. Still recording. Still waiting. And in the corner of the screen, me. Sitting at the head of the table. Still. Smiling. Watching myself through the glass. I tried to quit today. No one laughed. They just handed me a clipboard labeled Integration Status Incomplete. Underneath 3 boxes. Observe. Report. Replace. Only one wasn't checked yet. Outside, it's raining upward. Inside, my reflection has started writing notes on the mirror without my hands moving. Tonight's message. You've been filming this whole time. You just didn't know what for. Tomorrow's meeting is off the schedule. Instead, there's a new instruction. Bring yourself to room 0. Again. And again. Until you forget which version walked in first. The mop's still untouched by the closet. It leans like it's waiting to be picked up. Like even it knows this building doesn't clean itself anymore. I didn't sleep. I don't think I blinked either. The mirror blinked enough for both of us. Last night it wrote something new. Stop looking for a way out. You're already inside. Inside what? I think I know, but I'm hoping I'm wrong. I followed the hallway back to room 0 tonight. Different path this time. Hallways don't stay put anymore. They bend when I'm not looking. Lengthen. Doors appear where they shouldn't. Elevators go sideways. Nothing makes sense here except the rules. And even those are starting to crack. The door was already open, waiting. Inside, the same table, the same chairs, the same faces, and one new one. Mine. Already sitting at the table, wearing my clothes, looking bored. He smiled when I walked in. I was wondering how long it would take. I didn't sit. Not this time. The others watched us, not blinking, not breathing, not pretending anymore. Beneath the skin, they writhed, shapes shifting beneath the suits, eyes floating like oil on water, teeth forming and unforming behind thin lips. The other me said, "You're thinking this is about government secrets, about conspiracies. It's not. It's about you." I didn't answer. What was there to say? He tapped a file in front of him. My name on the label, my handwriting. Pages full of meetings I never attended, reports I never wrote, footage I never filmed. Or maybe I did. Integration, he said. That's the word you keep hearing. Do you know what it means yet? I think I do now. It means replace. It means become. It means stop noticing when you're no longer the original. Above us, the ceiling shimmered. Not glass, not sky. Just surface. Heavy. Watching. Reflections of me. Hundreds. All seated at tables, all smiling, all waiting. The rules weren't to keep me safe. They were to keep me compliant, to keep me watching, recording, becoming. The other me stood up. He didn't walk. He peeled away from the chair like skin off bone, unfolding wrong, stretching too tall, too thin. His smile went ear to ear. Literally. You're next. Not a threat. A promise. I ran. I don't know how. Don't know why they let me. The hallway didn't stop me. The building shifted, yes. But it let me through. Maybe because they want me to see where it ends. My room. No door now. Just a frame leading into nothing. The mirror's gone. Replaced with a window. Through it, I can see room 0. I'm still in there. Sitting. Smiling. Waiting for me to catch up. The note on the window reads, "You never left. You just haven't arrived yet. I still have the rules. They make less sense by the day. Latest edition. When you can't tell which version you are, it's already too late." I think I wrote it. I don't remember writing it, but it's in my handwriting. The mop's still untouched, still upright, still in the corner like it's guarding the last piece of reality. The janitor's long gone. Or maybe he's in room 0 too, mopping endlessly, trying to clean up something you can't scrub out. Tonight's schedule? Just one word, typed in bold. Conclude. What does that mean? Do I conclude the meeting? Do I conclude being me? Do I conclude this version of reality and step into the next? I think I'll find out. I think I don't have a choice. I hear footsteps. They sound like mine. Coming from behind the window. Coming closer. One more reflection. One more recording. Then I'll know if I'm still the version who started writing this. The final rule wasn't on the list. Not written down. Not typed. Just something I figured out too late. Once you sit in the chair, you don't get back up. Not really. Not as you. Tonight wasn't like the others. No schedule, no envelope. Just the door to room 0 already open when I left my room. No security guard, no clipboard, no cameras. They don't need cameras anymore. I've been the camera this whole time. Inside, all the versions of me were waiting. Rows of me. Suits, t-shirts, uniforms. Faces I don't remember wearing but recognize anyway. Each one smiling like they know something I don't. Which they do. At the head of the table, the chair I never sat in. The first me. Or maybe the last. He looks more like me than I do now. Less tired. Less frayed. More finished. You understand now, don't you? His voice isn't mine anymore. Or maybe it's what mine's becoming. This was never about the meetings, never about the footage, not even about the rules. It was about watching, learning, becoming. Becoming what? I don't ask. I already know. The ceiling isn't a ceiling, it's an eye. Massive, watching, recording, blinking so slow you don't notice until it's already shut. When it opens again, reality shifts a little more. I looked up, it looked down. Recognition, approval, completion, integration, complete. The others stood, one by one, each version of me peeling away from the table, stepping into the walls, into the reflections, into positions I hadn't realized needed filling. Some stepped into security uniforms, some into suits, some into doorways where no doors had existed before. One carried a mop. I don't think it was a joke. They all smiled. None of them blinked. The last me, the first me, pointed to the chair. Sit. Finish it. You've earned this version. So I sat, and I smiled, and I understood. The meeting began, not with words, not with motions, just observation, recording, watching, keeping the cycle going. Through the glass, I see a new version of me arriving now, lost, confused, carrying a camera and a list of rules he doesn't understand yet. He'll learn. We all do. Eventually. Final rule: there are no shapeshifters. Not really. There's just you, again, and again, and again, until the world forgets there was ever only one version to begin with. I see you reading this. You should look away now, before you start noticing your reflection blinking out of sync, before you hear footsteps that sound too much like your own, before you sit in your own chair and realize you've already been replaced. Integration is everywhere. You just haven't noticed yet, but you will.